Welcome to the W7W Podcast.
This is a podcast where we talk about our local yarn shop, W7W, located in the cultural district of Fort Worth.
Nice touch.
Thank you.
So how's it going?
It's going pretty good. How's it going with you?
Good.
Yep.
Yeah, we just had brunch, at a place down the street called Snooze.
That's right.
It was really good. It's called an AM eatery. The waitress was really nice. She brought me a to-go cup of coffee, which was very, very kind. I will say one thing about that place is delicious, but it's always crowded.
It is. It's usually pretty busy, and it can be a little hard to find a parking space.
On the weekend, I think I overheard somebody say it's still like an hour-long wait.
Yikes.
Yeah, so go on.
It's not too bad today. I mean, we found a parking spot right nearby.
Yeah, but it's Monday, and we were there at like 11 a.m.
Right.
So, which is great if you're coming to see us and you're here before 10 a.m., before we open on a weekday or something, and you want to grab something to eat. It's a fun place to go.
Yeah, grab a quick breakfast. Maybe not quick.
It is not quick.
Grab a breakfast.
But it is good. It's open, I think, 6:30 to 2:30 p.m., so they close pretty quick.
Oh, and inside tip, I don't think it's on the menu, but they do have grits, and they are dangerous.
They're very good.
Yep, heads up on that.
Good grits. Good grits. All right, so what else happened this weekend, Hunter Young?
Well, we had the spin together competition that lasted an entire week, and was Saturday the last day for that.
I feel like it was the Saturday before. Yeah, it was the Saturday before.
Oh, okay. My timetable was completely off.
But this weekend was your birthday.
It was my birthday. I keep trying to forget about it, if I'm being honest. I'm trying not to think about it.
Happy birthday. He sings the best birthday songs. I don't know if you've ever witnessed his birthday songs, but he goes all out.
You can't be putting that out there. Now everybody's going to ask me.
I think you should. If it's your birthday and you're here, ask Hunter to sing you happy birthday.
I'm pretty shameless. It'll probably happen.
It's going to be fantastic. You'll love it.
I'll need to improvise a microphone if I do it, though.
He doesn't need a microphone. We also got flu shots today.
Yep.
It kind of hurts. Not gonna lie.
Big baby.
Actually, the shot itself doesn't hurt, but it's kind of stiff afterwards.
I don't know. I went to the gym this morning, so everything kind of hurts anyway, so it just kind of blends in.
There is never an opportunity for you to not say that you went to the gym.
It's like the constant thing in my life. Yarn shop, gym, repeat.
So then, also I watched a podcast this morning.
What'd you watch?
I watched the new Man vs. Knitting podcast.
Yeah, that just hit the internets, didn't it?
It did, and I'd actually seen it before because Charles had interviewed one of my favorites, Franklin Habit, and he also interviewed another one of my favorites, Hunter Young.
Aha!
What good company you're in.
Yeah, that's great.
So, on the Man vs. Knitting podcast, you can find an interview with...
That's right, and it is episode 5. Just get on YouTube, look up Man vs. Knitting.
Is it episode 5? Yeah,
I believe so.
5. And Charles went to, I think he made it to all the yarn shops on the North Texas Yarn Crawl.
Very good.
I think he did. So he's got a little bit to say about all of them.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Cool.
And what else did we do this weekend? I think that's about it.
Yeah, pretty much. Went out to Rodeo Goat for my birthday. That was nice. It's been a little while since we've gone there.
So we also went at a great time where there's not a wait, because there can be a wait there too.
Yeah, and the big challenge with Rodeo Goat is the parking lot, the parking situation. But again, lucked out a little bit. I think we went a little early.
Lucked out a lot.
So it worked out.
We eat early on Sundays.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
Yep.
Next Thursday, we're having a knit night Halloween party.
That is correct. Thursday the 24th.
Yes.
And the reason we're having a Halloween party on Thursday the 24th is because the following Thursday is actually Halloween during which we will be closing at our normal time, 6 p.m. We're not going to be doing knit night because we're going to have to boogie and do Halloween stuff.
Yeah,
so heads up on that.
Our kids want to take candy from strangers on Halloween.
I mean, always, really, but
and
especially
we want to give
Halloween.
candy to strange children on Halloween.
We want to go to the neighbor's fun party afterwards, is what we want to do.
We have fun on Halloween. It's a good time.
There we go.
Not that knit night isn't a good time. Knit night is a fantastic time. But Halloween is on Thursday this year, so you do what you gotta do.
Yeah, do what you gotta do.
We don't have any classes this month to talk about.
No, we'll have classes for the next podcast, but right now everything we have left for the rest of the month are, part 3 and 4, and
there is something. Mel's gonna do a drop spin. Are you yawning?
No, I probably yawned, yes.
We should have a counter. Ding, ding.
I could probably do that, but I won't do it.
You should do it. Maybe if you're counting at home, you can respond with how many times on a yarn calculator. Yawn calculator.
Yes. I could actually get a count.
Okay, so drop spindle. Mel's going to teach drop spindle next month. It's a 2-part class, I believe.
Yes, and the drop spindle we provide, it's included in the cost of the class. It's one of these
laser printed Turkish drop spindles, which I really like the Turkish drop spindles.
Yeah, and the laser printed drop spindles, they do really well for us because they're so precisely crafted. They're very well balanced. So, if you're going to get a drop spindle, it's not a bad choice.
Not a bad choice. They're not that expensive. The only thing is you don't want to leave it in a hot car, which is not going to be too much of a problem for the next few months. But in the summer, do keep that in mind. Take it in with you wherever you go. And they're collapsible. I won't collapse it because I've got some fiber on it right now. But you take the shaft out and you just put it in your bag. Yeah,
when remember back when they used to have cassette tapes for music?
I do.
I used to have a lot of cassette tapes of a lot of different music that I like to play in my car. And because I was lazy and not paying attention and young, I would just leave them in the car. And sure enough, you do that in Texas in the summer, those tapes are probably not going to do so well long term. So,
did you keep them in the case?
Yeah.
In the plastic case? And they still melted? I kept mine in a shoebox on the floorboard. Not the driver's side floorboard, but the passenger side. I don't think I've ever had one melt.
Maybe they weren't in the case then. Maybe they're like...
Just leave it on the dashboard or something?
No. They're in like a container, like a black container, but... No, I definitely had them warp.
Oh, well...
Warp to the point where they're unplayable.
Yeah.
So... Yep.
Blast from the past.
Right? I just thought of that when you were talking about not leaving the Turkish drop spindle in the car. I was like, yeah, plastic car, not great in Texas. I let some
crayons melt in the car before, though. Not on purpose. Yeah. All right, so...
Cool.
Any other new... We don't really have any new products this week.
No, not really.
But, yes, we do.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we do.
Just not new yarn, so it's like...
We have new books.
We do,
we
absolutely.
have Making Number 8, Forest, which has got some really fun, fantastic knitting, felting, sewing, all-around good time stuff.
That release date was October 18th, so it is just recently hit the floor.
And then we also have Bristol Ivy's new book, Knitting Outside the Box, Drape, and Fold.
Release date on that was the 19th, so also just hit the floor.
So there are several patterns in here, ranging from short cropped cardigans to cowls to kind of bolero type. That's a cute thing. To this one's really cute. This asymmetric tunic.
It's adorable.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff in this one. So, Bristol Ivy's Knitting Outside the Box, Drape and Fold. Her other book. Do we still have any copies of Knitting Outside the Box?
I want to say yeah, it feels like the truth, but I don't know 100%.
And then the other new thing we have is the Vogue Knitting Ultimate Quick Reference Guide. If you scoot your head just a little bit over, you can see the Vogue Knitting Ultimate knitting book right there.
And that thing is amazing. It has like everything in there.
It does. This one is a smaller version. You can fit in your knitting bag. It's a paperback. It is still, I mean, your knitting bag still has to be kind of big. You're not gonna fit this in like your sock project bag.
No.
But it has a lot of really cool information from the basics, several different cast-ons, several different cast-offs, cables, and it's shorter, and it's little tidbits of information. It's got brioche knitting, it's got fixing mistakes, it's got picking up stitches. So just kind of a quick, if you've never heard of something before and your pattern is saying do this and you're like, what is that? You can probably find it in here.
And they really did it well. There were a handful of things I really liked that I can reference in the regular Vogue knitting guide. Mm-hmm. So I was just thumbing through here. I was like, does it have this? Yes, it does. Does it have this? Yes, it does. Yeah. It has all the stuff that I already like to reference in that book in this smaller form.
Smaller, little bite size. It's got great, cool information like how to do a jogless join, buttonholes,
darning, repair.
Yeah, really cool. How to count your rows in garter, how to count your rows in stockinette. Some nice selvage edge finishes. Counting your rows between cables. It's just a really good book. It's really, and a little bit lighter and easier, portable, especially if you're going on vacation. I don't know about you, but I like to pack like 5 different projects.
Mm-hmm.
And this is handy to take along.
It's good. It's always good to have at least a couple of projects. You want to have the backup plan.
Yeah. And then we actually do have a new fiber. Kristen Cathy, one of the ladies who works here, she has her own. She's doing fiber and yarn, and it's called Hidden Door. Mm-hmm. She's also our weaving instructor. She has made several art bats for spinning, and this is one of them. They're all different, and they're all really colorful and really beautiful. And I'm using this one on a little drop spindle, just making little chunks out of it at a time. Nice and portable. You can take this with you at the doctor's office while you wait. But she's used several different fibers in here. There's some stellina, there's some merino, there's some pineapple fiber.
Mm-hmm. Not all of them, but some of them.
There's some sari silk. It's just a lot of fun stuff and really bright, really fun colors. So look for those soon on our shelves. These fun art bats. You could spin with it. You can weave with it. It would be nice for we don't see thrummed mittens very often in Texas, but if you needed some fiber to thrum some mittens, you could felt with it. You could do little felted animals or felted landscapes, like the painting with fiber, painting with wool, I think, the Danny Ives book and workshop, which was fantastic. So there's a lot of things you could do with these, and they are beautiful. And then, while it's not new, we did want to highlight the Anzula that we have.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw on the social medias, the owner of the company is named Sabrina, and she's lovely.
Very nice.
She's one of the hardest working people in this industry. She travels across the country.
In a van, a large van.
Usually. And she's done trunk shows here for us before, and either during or after around those trunk shows, she sometimes does meetings with yarn owners to sell her products. So she has a lot of samples with her, sample garments, sample yarn, her color cards, which are just like tiny, small skeins of yarn, so that you can really get a feel of what it looks like and feels like, and the twist on it and everything. Well, she was in San Francisco
Yeah, I think
doing
so.
one of these meetings.
She's out of California.
I think Sacramento, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So she was just in a regular car doing one of these meetings, and she had stopped to get something to eat, perhaps, I think, or she had made a stop, and someone broke into that car and stole everything. All her sample yarns, her color cards, all her knitted garments, and so people were asking, how they could help, what they could do, and she said, you can buy our yarn from your local retailers so that they will order more from us.
Mm-hmm.
So we just wanted to show you some of the things that we do have for Manzula.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get started.
All right, so let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay, so I grabbed and filled a basket starting on one end of the shop, lighter weight yarn, and then going heavier as we go. So that means we start off with the heavier because that is on top. Mm-hmm. So this is for better or worsted and Zula. The fiber content in a lot of these bases, unless we say otherwise, is typically going to be 80% superwash, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon. So yeah, this is just a couple of colors. We have a ton of colors.
Is that for better or worsted?
This is for better or worsted.
Mm-hmm. That's one red shoe,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes, this is one red shoe. Yeah, it's very popular. And then this is Grace, which is kind of green.
Lovely.
All right, so next up, let's see if we can keep things more or less in order.
No order, no rhyme, no reason.
Oh, nice. Okay, here we go. Cricket.
Spring of the yarn.
Cricket is a DK, also superwash merino cashmere nylon. There it is right there. Olivia and Bark are these colors.
Mm-hmm.
You want the yarn?
Yeah, always.
Cool.
When I was going around the shop, I was pulling fall colors.
Mm-hmm.
So the ones I chose what kind of fall.
All right, next up we have Ava, which is a sport weight. MCN as well.
Merino cashmere nylon.
Right, this is Prince and Garnet.
Mm-hmm. Lovely. Did you grab the Vera?
I did indeed.
Nice. I knit a long coat jacket. It's not a coat. It's very light. It's like a sweatery, short sleeve, open tunic. Spring Showers by Hoagie.
Now,
out of the Vera, and it was very nice to work with.
Mm-hmm. This is Vera, also a sport weight. Now it's a little different. It is 65% silk, 35% linen. So this is a little better for our climate, depending. And the colors are, this is Au Naturel, which is basically they're undyed, and then saffron. And then, let's see, now we're going to start getting into the fingering weight. This is Squishy, which is their kind of regular fingering weight yarn. Again, merino cashmere nylon, bubblegum, and aqua.
Are the minis squishy too? They
yes, her minis are also squishy, but 25 grams instead of 100 grams. So that works out to be, what is it? Looking at 84 yards.
I used some for heels and toes.
Yep.
Yeah, and they're lovely.
Mm-hmm. Also MCN, of course, same base. Teddy is this color, and then this is Rust. And then let's see. Now we get into the Sparkle, the Stellina. So this is Lunaris. It is also merino cashmere, but with Stellina, I guess, instead of nylon.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's kind of the answer to the Nebula, which is the next one. If you've ever used Nebula, I think the Stellina in there is a little crunchy. And so people were like, oh, it's not as soft. So they came up with Lunaris, which has cashmere in it, to make it a softer sparkle.
And you can definitely feel the difference, just, it's pretty noticeable. This is Navy, and this is, again, one red shoe. As compared to, Nebula. All right, Nebula is 84% superwash merino and then 16% Stellina. This is it, and this would be Blanche and Gumball. And then finally, we have find it, Cloud, which is a light fingering. And you guessed it, is also a MCN. It's this right here, the colors of Aqua and Prince. I think we already had Prince on one of the other bases. So yeah, we've got just a few bases of Anzula, it turns out.
And it's all beautiful.
Mm-hmm. And Sabrina's great. And
it's a great company.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. She also has been on the. I think she's been involved in the yarn, on the yarn board of TNNA for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
So she's a really hard-working lady.
She is. And
a lovely person. So that brings us to.
I've always got mixed feelings when I know she's coming to town, because it's like it'll be great to see Sabrina, but man, we're about to get a whole lot of yarn. Which is good, but man, it's a lot of yarn. She's good at selling yarn.
I enjoy buying yarn off the back of the yarn truck.
I do too.
Yeah.
I just don't enjoy the bill afterwards.
Do you have any finished?
I do. Let me get some of this out of the way. There it goes. Okay, finished objects. Okay, does one sock count?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I've got some things I could talk about with it. I've finished sock 3 of the sock machine.
Please do talk about that.
Socks. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so I finished, and I should have brought them up for comparison, but I forgot to bring them. The first pair of sock machine socks I made, basically I just kind of did an afterthought everything, and I knit them. I just treated it like it was a normal sock, which it was not a normal sock, which means I did on my size 1 needles.
Maybe we should call this section Lessons Learned.
Lessons learned, there we go.
Lessons learned.
Size 1 needles, but and they turned out okay, and they're wearable, but they're a little on the tight side, and the reason for that is because the sock machine, it has a 60 cast on instead of my default 72, which would be normal for me, at least for making socks for myself. And the reason I'm able to wear a sock tube sock with such a significantly lower cast on number is because the gauge is noticeably looser than I would typically knit. So as a result, when I was on the size 1 needle finishing it up, it was like everything was short and small because it was
your
just
gauge is so much tighter. My
gauge is noticeably tighter, and the stitch count's radically different from my normal.
Mostly your gauge.
I'm not really a tight knitter. I'm a fairly on gauge knitter, so it wasn't crazy tight or anything, but it was definitely different. So, and as a result, the sock was a little tight. So this time
it was tight across the top of your foot.
Mm-hmm.
Was the only really place that it was tight.
Yeah, but it was tight there. But then also, when I'm doing, for example, a toe-up sock, and your afterthought cuff is basically going up like a toe-up sock.
Mm-hmm.
I like to use the Easy Sewn bind off. That's my go-to.
And so your cuff was tight.
My cuff was tight too because it works amazingly well at my typical cast on. But when it was only 60, I could get it on and off, but it was tight. So I had to make some adjustments.
Again, I don't think it was the number. I think it was the gauge.
It was the stitch count. It was definitely a part of it. So anyway, this time around, I had moved up to a 1.5, knit the toe, noticed that it was...
Did you drop
your drop spindle?
Yeah.
Noticed that the toe was there was still a significant difference in the stitch count, or the size of the stitches between the sock tube and me. So I was like, okay, regroup. I just started grabbing all my interchangeable tips and started sliding them in to see at which point it was too difficult to get it back in. I was default thinking about doing a 3, but I felt like it was just this much too big. But when I went to a 2.5, US 2.5, that seemed to be the sweet spot. The stitches looked right. It got in there. It was snug, but it worked. So I knit everything on a 2.5 this time around, and it appears to have worked out better. It's still a little tight across the top, but it is definitely an improvement. So you can see, hopefully, that there's a lot more consistency between the stitch size of the tube sock versus what I knit on the toe and on the afterthought heel.
And the first time you could tell, like the toe stitches were really noticeably smaller.
Mm-hmm.
And the heel stitches were noticeably smaller.
Yeah. So, and then in addition to that, instead of the easy sewn bind off this time around, because I mean, despite being able to address the gauge situation, I still had reservations about using that specific bind off because it wouldn't change the fact that it's a 60 stitch situation. So this time I tried I'm blanking now that I'm on the spot.
Ginny Super Stretchy?
Ginny Super Stretchy bind off. And that appears, it's still a little bit on the tight side, but I think it helped. It's a little better.
And you used a 2.5 and not a 1?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, whereas with the sewn bind off, it would have just been, cut the yarn and use a needle, and no, it would not have worked well. Mm-hmm. So I think it improved everything. Good. So yeah, basically, should we start offering up the sock machine services?
Always check your gauge.
Always check your gauge, and then I'll be happy to give advice along these lines as well, since I'm kind of learning as we go how to best work with these sock machines.
You could, for checking your gauge, you could start by just unraveling the waist yarn and starting to knit and see if your stitches match the stitches below that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So either that or just kind of cast on with the toe and just evaluate then. Either way, you're going to be comparing the stitches.
Yeah.
So,
and
that's
important. I didn't even think about that because I knit socks on a 0, so I just went ahead and did my heels and toes on a 0, and they fit pretty well. But you're right, my foot is smaller than yours.
But then also, the thing about the sock machine is the gauge is adjustable.
It is.
So just because
to a point,
but yeah, just because a 2.5 worked for me for this sock for this time, I think you'd probably have to check every time.
Yeah, I think you should, because different yarn's gonna get you a different gauge.
Yeah,
and,
so that's the thing to bear in mind, because due to the awkwardness of the stitch count difference, it's something to take in mind for sure.
Yeah, good thing to think about.
Yes. Okay. So that's my lessons for today.
Any other finished?
Yes. So Spin Together happened. Our weaving instructor kind of got
team
me.
Captain.
She was also the team captain, and she kind of enlisted me into joining the team. So
were you on the team last year?
I don't think I was on the team last year, but I was on the team.
But we did teach you how to spin with the drop spindle.
Was it 2 years ago I was on the team when I learned with the drop spindle? Either last year or the year before, but I did spin a little previously with a Turkish drop spindle like Amy's using here today.
But this time I got a second wheel, so I let Hunter use my first wheel.
Yes, and so I was on Amy's Kromsky wheel.
And at first she didn't like it.
Didn't like it. I kind of rage quit it on day one. But then went back to it the next day, or maybe a couple of days later. It was Sunday that I rage quit, so then I went back to it on Tuesday.
First day.
Right? Because Monday we're closed. Got back on Tuesday, and I was like, okay, I'm more stubborn than this thing. And sure enough, and Kristen was there at the time to give me some... I
really think it was the angle you were using.
Yeah, I think it was also not quite understanding how to use the tensioner.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that was part of it too. And also my choice of fiber, because when Amy got an Ashford wheel as her new wheel, when I got on that, it was so easy and intuitive. I was spinning rainbow roll onto it, which pencil roving.
Rainbow roll sushi.
Well, that's what Noro calls her, pencil roving. Anyway, so I was spinning it, and that's very breakable, but I was not breaking it. I was spinning no problem. So I thought I could do that on the Kromsky, not knowing how the tensioner really worked or where the sweet spot was there, and it was a exercise in frustration. However, went back to it on Tuesday, figured out the tensioner a little bit better. Got some Corriedale, which is fairly comparable to Blueface Leicester in terms of
it's a rougher.
The fiber.
The fiber is
length.
Easier to spin. Yeah.
Yeah, and sure enough, I was able to spin that, and then I went ahead and set that aside and we had these 4 ounces of merino that we had done up for the shop. Just I grabbed one of those. We have a bunch in the back. It's like our go-to for our spinning classes.
It's really soft.
Grabbed one of those. It's a superwash, right? Superwash merino.
I don't know.
I think it is. Anyway,
Feels really soft and slick, so it probably is.
So I ended up spinning that as well, and that was my main contribution. And then I ended up applying that, and then I applied the Corriedale to make them both a 2-ply. And then this is the merino that I spun.
But it's not finished.
No, I have not thwacked it yet. I need to take it home, get it in the sink, and then thwack.
That's my favorite part of spinning.
The bleep out of it.
Thwacking.
Thwack it, and then hang it, and then it will be done.
Do you even thwack, dude? Dude.
I can't even thwack right now.
Dude. Do you even thwack?
How you gonna ask me that on the podcast? This is a private conversation.
So my finished objects are the same. I don't have any knitting that's finished. I wore my sweater last time. But I have 3 skeins of yarn that I finished for... these were finished for the Spin Together competition, and this was halfway finished. But I did end up finishing and thwacking all of these. They're all superwash merino. Isn't that what the Malabrigo is? Is the Malabrigo superwash or just plain?
Malabrigo, you're talking about the worsted or the Rios? Oh, the Rube, sorry. I don't know.
Noob. Spinning fiber.
Did I say Rube?
You did.
You're a Rube.
Watch your mouth. Anyway.
You're the one that's thwacking when I'm not around.
I don't know. I am still not that consistent of a spinner. I mean, I'm not a machine, so I'm never gonna be like machine consistent. But it's not bad. So I'm wondering what I would really like to knit something with these. Maybe not all together. Maybe just the blue, just the green. But I maybe will pair it with some neutrals that I spun last year. I spun all neutrals last year. And I was thinking maybe a slip stitch bandana cowl, something that doesn't have to be spot on gauge-wise. Might be fun. So if you have any ideas, message me or comment and let me know. What should I do with my hand spun? Besides throw it at Hunter. And that
Won't be
is
the
all I
first
have.
time, won't be the last time.
What are you working on?
What am I working on? I'm about to, well, not about to, I already have. This is the last of my sock tubes from Alonzi, the teeny button yarn. And yeah, it's just fresh on the needles. And there's the sweater that's forever stalled out. Once I finish that sock, I'll try these socks on, maybe make some other adjustments, but then maybe get some more sock tubes going to further my sock tube adventures. And then also, I'm sure I'll start looking to work in a shop sample.
I'm going to teach you how to use the sock machine.
Yeah, I need to know.
Yeah. Okay, I am working on the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along, so if you don't want to see it, here's your spoiler alert. Close your eyes, press fast forward, look away. It's called Starflake, and it is 2 colors, which is fantastic. This is my progress so far. Some people on the social medias and the Ravelries are able to stretch it out. I don't know how they're doing that. They must have super long cables, but mine is just kind of all squished up like this. But it's been pretty fun from the beginning. Interesting cast on with these components. You've got some garter, you've got some brioche, and finishing up clue 3 with some lace. So it's been really fun. I might want to knit another one of these in black and white. Might be pretty. But this has been a fun thing to knit. And I am using the Dream in Color BFL sock. So it's not super soft and slippery.
I was about to say BFL, that would be great for socks, but for a shawl, it's an interesting choice.
I've used sock yarn for shawls before.
BFL though?
Maybe not BFL, but that like super generic that's not that soft. I did that black and white. Oh, I can't remember that. Oh, Holden. I did a black and white Holden, which has got lace, and it worked really well. And it's worn really well too. I wear it a lot. I wear that one a lot, especially when we go on vacation. I take it with us a lot because it's black and white. It goes with everything, and it's modern and yet vintage at the same time with the lace. Anyway, that's a fun one. This is also a really fun one. Is it tame as far as Stephen West shawls go? Yes and no, just because of the monochromatic colors maybe, but it is awfully fun. Awfully fun to knit. All right, so that's what I'm working on.
Cool.
Do we have a giveaway?
We do have a giveaway. We have
last week's giveaway
of unique cotton.
Yes.
Which is DK weight.
Okay, and we had 28 comments that were eligible, so I'm going to bring up a random number generator. Minimum 1, maximum 28. I got number 7. Let's see if we can find the 7th comment. Yep. Congratulations, Rachel Ledbetter.
Yay!
Woo! If you're watching this, please contact us. Text us, email us, call us. Let us know how you would like to receive your yarn. If you'd like to pick it up in store, or if you'd like us to ship it to you, we'd be happy to do either one.
Absolutely.
Yes. All right, so next... Oh, Hunter brought to my attention that this is our 50th podcast.
I'm probably flashing something on the screen right now.
And in terms of podcasts, if you watch a lot of podcasts, there have been lots of episodes. Some people are on their 200th episode. This is our 50th one, and so we wanted to do something special for everyone who watches. Everyone wins a prize. So we've made a code on our online store that you can also use in store for $5 off your purchase.
That's right. It's discount 50.
Episode 50. Episode 50 is the code to type in if you're buying online, or if you stop by the shop, just say, "Hey, I watched your podcast," and we will take $5 off your order.
Yep.
Yay! All right, and that is good for 2 weeks, or until episode 51
correct
lands. So you have from now until I think the Monday after the 4th, November 4th, to use that. Cool. But we're also going to give away a random prize, and it is going to be a copy of the Vogue Knitting Ultimate Quick Reference, because it's so fantastic and you need this.
Absolutely.
So comment. What's our question going to be? Any comment. Maybe. How'd you learn to knit? Or if you don't knit,
how'd you learn your specific fiber art?
Or crochet. How did you learn to knit or crochet?
Or spin.
Or spin. Or do whatever it is you do. And if you don't do any of those,
or weave,
and you would like to learn, just tell us you'd like to learn. You can really any comment is fine.
Yeah.
All right. That's it from us. Thank you for watching.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.